All right, and we are live. We've got an incredible guest with us today. Both Grandmother Sue and Grandmother Kiri Dewes is with us, and Kiri is an artist, an author, a poet, and a mentor to many, many people all over the planet. She lives near Melbourne, Australia, and I'm going to let her dive a little deeper into what her background is and how she became to be the founder of Australia's Council of 13 Grandmothers. So Kiri, welcome. Thanks so much for coming on our show.
Thank you.
So tell us a little bit about how you came to create the council, Australia's Council of 13 Grandmothers. Tell us that story, because I know that's a fun one.
Well, it happened in the year 2011 when I was in America at a spiritual gathering. And I was approached by the dance leaders first. And they asked me why don't I start a group of grandmothers here in Australia? And I thought, why me? Because I'm not of the land. And I went back 2 years later, and they asked me what was going on. And I said, well, I didn't believe. No, I thought they were joking, and I thought, my God, they mean it, you know. So there were two ladies there from Australia. So I thought I started right away. So I Council of Grandmothers. So that's how it all started. And then I came back here to Australia and visited different places and looking on the net for possible mothers. And in my mind, I must have been included in this group of grandmothers. So that was the birth of the grandmothers, Australian Council of Grandmothers.
So that was 2013, basically. Is that right? About 5 years ago?
That's right. We were just going by the world, the number in the world grandmothers.
Yeah.
There's a world group of taken from each country or several countries.
Yeah.
But ours is just the Australian Council of 13 Grandmothers.
Right.
And we have meetings every 6 months, and we're coming up to our big meeting in Geelong.
I believe you.
Yeah, so you've got a meeting coming up soon, right, in Geelong, and you've got a public.
This coming weekend.
Yeah, and so there's a space. Which day is it that people can come out to meet all of the other grandmothers from around Australia? What day is that, Sue?
On the Sunday.
And where is that going to be held?
It's going to be held at a church in Spiritualist church in Geelong. Have you got the name there, Sue?
Not with me, but I'll put it up later. I'll put it on the comments later, so anybody can come then.
So that's Sunday the 21st?
21st. Yep, and it's from 10 o'clock onwards. It's going to be from 10 o'clock onwards, and if you bring a plate to share or some food for yourself for lunch, we'll have a chat again after lunch and questions and all that kind of stuff. So you get to talk one-on-one with any of the grandmothers.
So Marilyn is saying she's having a hard time hearing you, Kiri. We're going to have to make sure that you stay close to your device there so that we can hear you.
Say that again, Bob.
We're having a hard time hearing you, so I need you to stay close to your device there.
Okay.
That's great.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, it's still a little garbled, but we'll do our best. We'll see if we can get some people to hang in there with us.
Yeah. It was saying before her bandwidth wasn't good, so hopefully it'll stay good.
That could be it. We need everyone else online as well to help us set the intention that we get clarity of thought, mind, and speech, visual here, with these internet little things we've been having. And Janet's just joined in as well. Welcome, Janet. So if you have any questions for Grandmother Kiri and Grandmother Sue, just type them into the chat box and we'll see if we can get them answered. Janet says she's on the other side of the valley, and we have Marilyn in Western Australia joining us today. So, Kiri, tell us a little bit about what does the council, Australia's Council of 13 Grandmas, what is it that you guys do for our audience?
Well, to me, it's all about telling our life stories, or talking about whatever the public want to hear. You know, we open ourselves up so they can talk to us. It's talking about, for me, it's about talking about my life experiences, sharing what makes my heart sing.
Yeah. So what does make your heart sing, Kiri?
I mean, you don't have to have a university degree to be a grandmother.
Yeah.
It talks about your life skills. Well, that's how I see it.
So what makes your heart sing, Kiri?
Well, people and meeting people, meeting different people, and when I'm with my grandchildren, my heart is just a flutter.
And how many grandchildren do you have now?
I have about 20 grandchildren, 23 and 2 great grandchildren.
Wow, that's amazing.
And I love every one of them.
That's an incredible effort too, and I'm sure she knows all their names.
That's great.
They keep me alive. No, I'm always mixing up the names when we're all together. That's her over there. You know, I'm always mixing up their names. But they keep me in line.
Yeah. I'll bet they do. And Marilyn's on. She says, "Good morning, Kiri." From Marilyn in WA. Marilyn von Pileski in Western Australia is on with us live. So, Kiri, I know you've written a lot of poetry and you've published a number of books with your poetry. Is there something you'd like to share with us today? A poem?
Okay. And I'm in the throes of publishing my first book.
Nice.
Yes, the life story of Kiri, and it's going to be a massive, big volume, I reckon. It's a lifetime of fabulous experiences.
Okay, you want to hear my poem now?
Yeah.
Okay, this poem is called Memories. I have a book of memories that you will never find. They're written for a lifetime in the pages of my mind. I often turn the pages now before I go to sleep and have no choice at all about the memories that I keep. I'm adding to them all the time. I don't require a pen. I only wish I could delete some memories now and then. You see, there's no limit to the articles I write. They sum up every small event that happens day and night. They bring forth many feelings, some happy and some sad, as I relive the old events of things both good and bad. And yet, I'm living here and now. I know that right or wrong. If I could but arrange my thoughts and sing them in a song. The modern day computers were invented by the mind. They are nowhere near as complex, yet they leave us far behind. While sifting through the pages, some are dusty as can be. They may not be in order, but they all belong to me.
That's lovely.
Very nice.
That's it, Bob.
I like it. I like it. And so everyone stay tuned. Kiri's book is going to be out soon. And Sue, I believe you've got a book coming out as well. Is that right?
Yes.
Yes, I've done the history of the Tasmanian Vortex.
I didn't realize so much was involved in publishing a book. But anyway, yes, I have a lovely publisher. We work well together, and there's a lot involved before it actually gets out there. I thought I'd just write it out and get it printed, and that's it. But there's more to it than that.
There is indeed. Yeah.
So I have to have some referees too. So I'm looking at soup for a referee.
Sorry, what was that? I just missed that last bit.
I'm looking at you to write something for my book. You know how they have recommendations on the back of each book that's published? Well, I'm in need of some of those, so I'm picking people to...
Well, I can tell plenty of tales about you. No worries about that.
No, just leave it. Talk about the good ones.
Not the naughty one.
And Gen Z's joined us, and so is Kim Karahiki. Hey there. How are you ladies doing?
Hi, Kim. I bet it's warmer in Alice than it is here today.
Yeah. So I'm going to ask Sue to look at the camera.
You're both looking good anyway.
Thanks, Kiri.
Yeah, I'd just like to add a little bit more about our meeting. We have grandmothers from all over Australia, and we have a couple of Indigenous ones that the wisdom in them is just phenomenal, and they speak beautifully. We have ones in Adelaide, we have ones in New South Wales, Queensland, and we've now got 2 in Tasmania, so
Yay.
we're a very varied bunch, yes.
Fantastic.
Yes, we have a huge fund of knowledge between us all, and anything you'd like to know, one of us can actually talk about it. So
Kiri,
come along and join us.
I wanted to hear a little bit about more about your upbringing. You're not Australian, are you?
Hey?
You're not from here, are you? You're not an Aussie. Well, you are an Aussie now. Where did you grow up? Tell us a little bit about your childhood and you growing up as a Maori.
But always remember where my roots are. I will never be an Aussie. I'll always be a Maori.
Yeah. So we actually have this question Janet has posed. It fits perfectly in with where this is going. So Janet says, how do people, whether it's Australia or New Zealand, how do the First Peoples maintain their language and culture, particularly for young people?
Are you talking about my culture or
why don't we just start with your culture? How do you help young Maoris maintain their language and their culture?
Well, a lot come to me here, and I do classes at my home with them, and a lot of them join clubs, Maori clubs, and they sing.
And they do haggis.
Totally Maori. They do their songs and dances, and so we hold on to that part of life and language. There's a lot of Maori people here that are teaching the young people our language. They have classes around about Melbourne.
Yeah. So for your children, how was it as a parent growing up? how difficult was it for you, or what kind of shortcuts or advice would you have for another parent? How do you help raise your own children? How were you able to maintain that culture and that language for your children as a busy mother? Kids are growing fast and they've got a million different things that are going on.
You know, well, with everything going on there, cannot really
There is it's dropping a bit again.
you know, it's a new generation of people. So all I do is walk my talk my walk, and if they need to know anything more, they ask me. I have people from New Zealand bringing me here for advice on more things.
Yeah.
And so Māori is very much alive here, but the language is not so. They're losing it because they've got no one out there to talk to.
Yeah.
There's very few Māori living here in Melbourne that are fluent in our language. For me, it's sad.
Yeah, that's clearly a challenge for sure. And how do you see? Okay, a lot of people. I keep losing the sound, Kiri. We're gonna keep our intentions flowing to get this sound to flow clearly for you. How do you see it flowing for with the
I can't see you anymore.
Yeah, your bandwidth's very low at the moment, so.
Yeah, it's cut out your video, and let's see.
Oh, there we go. We're back again. We're back again.
Yeah, we're back again.
Okay. There she is. Okay. Yeah, it's just a bandwidth problem here. But how do you see that also evolving that same challenge with other First Nation peoples, like the Aborigines and other First peoples around the planet? Any thoughts on how those cultures can help maintain the culture and the languages?
Well, I can't talk about the other cultures, but I love seeing their dances and all that. We had a big show down in Melbourne yesterday on Indigenous cultures, dancing and all that. But for me, I can't force them, the Māori people here. Even my children, I can't. It saddens me that they don't know my language.
Yeah.
But it's a new era. It's sad.
Yeah.
For me, not being into
it is a bit difficult to learn Maori, though. I've tried a few times, and I know when we were touring around New Zealand with you, you kept giving us all these names, and only one stuck in our brain, and I can't repeat that one.
You're not,
it was with Grandmother Jenny and me.
you're not bad. I'll turn you into a Māori.
So, Kiri, I think a lot of people around the planet are more familiar with the All Blacks and the sports team. That's kind of their exposure to Maori culture comes from the haka that they're using before the dance. Haka, the dance before the. Yeah, it's a different. It's a different cultural tradition. Before the rugby. Is it common that how do you feel about that? That's the intro that most people have with the Maori culture.
Well, they always seem to ask for the haka to open the big football matches.
Yeah.
So Māori groups they get paid well to it at football, so why not? A lot of our history and our stories are embedded in those haka. They only knew what they were saying in the haka. Even the songs, they preserve all our histories.
Nice. So, Sue, do you have some questions for Grandmother Kiri? And then when you're done, we'll dive into some of the other quick questions if we can keep the sound flowing.
Kiri, where would you like to see the grandmothers heading? Would you like to see us doing more public meetings or being available to smaller groups or big groups? Or
Yeah, I think like the one we're doing in Geelong, really, we could have done that, you know, as a request. Don't you think, Sue?
yeah,
Rather than because I don't want to I don't want to see the grandmothers putting limits on who comes to meetings, who comes to meet us. I don't think it's right to put limits on who's allowed to come and see us. When we meet every 6 months, to me it's an open forum. Whoever wants to come and meet the grandmothers can come. That's why I want to put in exclusive places where you got to ask the people for permission if the public can come. That's not the idea of the 6 monthly meeting. The 6 monthly meeting is to meet the people.
yeah, we're getting quite a following. We've got 5 or 6 people coming down from Phillip Island after our talk we did there a couple of weeks ago.
That's really good.
That's
I'm
fabulous.
looking forward to that.
Yeah, and there's children involved there too. The 2 boys are going to come down, so I think that's fabulous. We can actually get to speak to the youth as well as the older ones.
That's right. And we'll tell them how lovely it is to see them there. Because, you know, when I think of the youth, you know, they're the leaders of tomorrow.
Yeah, I think something that we would like to progress to too, Kiri, is this kind of forum where we can have a couple of the grandmothers on a Zoom meeting, and anybody that wants to meet us can then come on that and ask the questions.
Good. Yeah, that's very good, Sue. I agree.
Yeah, it really is we just need good internet connection and then usually it'll flow.
We need to advertise at Geelong that anyone who wants to, any people who want to meet us, ask us to go where they want us to be. Even if it's not at our 6 monthly meeting. Any groups that want to see us.
Yeah, we have got a nice big room there now to be able to talk from. It's at the community centre hall where the Spiritualist Church do hold that, and they've opened it up to everybody, so that's should be great. We should have a good turnout. Hopefully, people will come along and bring their lunch and have a lovely time.
That's right.
And ask Kiri all the difficult questions and
yeah.
make the work hard.
Speaking of difficult questions. All right, Kiri, we're on the difficult question round. You ready?
Right.
So Kiri, what is the greatest spiritual lesson in all of this for you?
The greatest spiritual lesson.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, you know, for me, in all my undertakings, no matter what it is, I always ask the Creator to guide me. Or when I'm talking to the public, I always ask that He use me as a tool to get to the people.
Nice.
Whenever I speak in forums, anywhere, before I go on, I always ask, you use me. You fill me with the right words to say to the people. And it all seems to just flow. I can never work to an agenda.
Yeah.
I can agree with that one.
Yeah.
Trying to organise Kiri is impossible, but
it's like herding cats.
Whatever is in my mind, that's you know. You ask me what spiritual guidance do I get? I always ask for it before I get out. Before we go to our forum,
Yeah, nice.
I always ask that He use me as a vessel
Yeah,
to the people.
great. So, Kiri, what is your definition of awareness or consciousness? What does that mean to you?
Awareness, and that's a hard one. Give me an example of what you see as awareness.
So, to me, consciousness. Yeah. Hey, that's cheating. That's not fair. Awareness is being able to avoid the question and pose it as another question to somebody else. That's a lot of awareness.
For me, I'm aware of what's going on around me. I make sure, that if I'm talking, say tomorrow, I make sure I have a good sleep, so that all my faculties are right, and I'm able to receive and repel or to answer all the bullets that are thrown at me.
No. So, Kiri, what is your definition of God?
Well, my definition of God, I can't tell you what He looks like, but I know my definition of God is an unbeliever asked me once, a young man asked me, well, that there's no God. If there's a God, what is He? Where is He? Or what is it? And I said, I can't tell you what He looks like, but I know it's an energy out there, far greater than you and I.
Yeah.
Far greater than you and I.
Nice. So, Kiri, do you have a spiritual practice that you do every day, or how do you incorporate your spirituality into your daily life?
Well, I was brought up in a family that everything was done before we go into all the kids around where I live came to my house for prayers. I'd look up the roads, see them all waiting at the pines to come down. That everything started with prayer. And I guess, so I've always, well, a lot of my family are ministers. And for me, I don't need a church to go to. For me, that's a man-made thing. I go to a church when I can have direct conversation with my Creator. My church is out there. The sky above the earth beneath. That's my church. I need it all the time. I don't have to go through it to reach the Creator. I can have direct conversation with Him anytime, any place, anywhere. And that's how I see my spirituality. It's a liaison between me and the Creator.
Fantastic. So, Kiri, what do you think happens when we die?
This is the time that you would normally pass it on to one of us.
Barbara, I believe we are all spiritual beings here on earth, having a human experience. That's what I believe. We're human, we are spiritual beings here on earth, having a human experience.
Yeah.
And when we fulfill that human experience, we are returned to sin. We graduate.
Nice.
That's how I see it.
Excellent.
I see death as a graduation. We of the flesh mourn. But for me, it's a celebration up there.
Fantastic. Sue, do you have a question for Kiri?
I'd just like to paint a little picture of Kiri that not many people see. And Kiri, in her earlier years, was a taxi driver. Little taxi driver always wore a baseball cap. Can you imagine getting into that cab and expecting to go from A to B? I'm sure many people got out of the cab ride thinking, "Wow, what was that?"
What's happening?
I'm sure many people got some of your wisdom while they were in the taxi.
I don't know about the wisdom. I just see the world as you can see it. I just see the world through my eyes. I don't expect everyone else to look at it the way I do. But I'm not ashamed to speak, my mind about how I see it. Some people might not believe in heaven or hell, but I believe there's something up there, somewhere.
Yeah. So, Kiri, can you finish these sentences? You ready? The world. Finish the sentence. The world needs.
Can I finish
The sentence, the world needs what? What does the world need?
The world needs more love and less pollution.
Nice. I believe, yeah. I believe in.
I believe that we should not look at the color of our skin. We're all one. I've said it many times. If you prick your skin, our blood's the same. We're all one. These are just our earthly overcoats.
Yeah, earthly overcoats. That's a good description. I like it. Love is.
Hey?
Love is. What is love?
Love is all embracing. Love is important.
Yeah. How about, I would like to thank.
You would like to
thank. Who would you like to thank?
Well, I think the Creator that I'm still here, sharing.
We are very grateful as well.
Every morning I wake up, I give a prayer of thanks that I'm still here to see another day.
Yeah.
Unbelievable that I'm still here. So you're not getting rid of me yet.
That's good to know. That's fantastic. The last question. Yeah. The last question, Kiri. I want my legacy to be.
I want my legacy.
Yeah.
I want my legacy to be remembered by everyone as a good person. I want my legacy to live on in my children, my grandchildren, and my great-great-grandchildren. I'm so lucky to be still here to welcome 2 great-great-grandchildren.
Great-great-grandchildren. Wow, that's just amazing.
I've got 2 beautiful great-great-granddaughters, Ava J. and Brooklyn.
Typical classic Aussie names. Yeah.
I'm rich.
You are. You have an infinite abundance that just exudes out from you. We love it. So, Sue, do you want to wrap this up? I really want to thank you, Kiri, for coming on to the Vortex Energy podcast here today. Sue, do you want to wrap this up?
Yeah, so if you liked meeting Kiri today in our podcast, please come along to Geelong and meet her in the flesh. I can promise you a very entertaining afternoon. Please come join us.
Thank you, Sue and Bob.
Thanks. We'll catch you soon, Kiri.
Bye. Bye.
See you next week.
Bye.